that broke boy. He no get anything. Follow chief.
But I love him.
Shena love you go chop.
Okay, I will think about it.
This is the story of Amina. She came to Lagos with nothing. No money, no plan, just love. Lagos changed her, gave her money, gave her a new life. Then one day, she looked at the same man who helped her survive and said, "You are too local for me now." This shattered the man who brought her to Lagos, but she thought she had won. But Lagos was not done with her yet. Amina stepped down from the bus. Her slippers touched Lagos sand for the first time. She adjusted her small bag, looked around. Noise everywhere. People shouting, cars rushing, life moving too fast. She held her bag tighter. Then she heard it. "Amina!" She turned. Michael, running toward her, breathless, smiling. He lifted her, spun her once, kissed her cheek. "You came." She nodded. "I said I will." They entered Ikeke. The ride was long, hot, quiet. Then Michael spoke. "It's not much, but we'll manage." Amina looked at him. "I didn't come for comfort." Pause. "I came for you." Michael smiled, but his eyes still worried. They got home. He opened the door slowly. Amina stepped in. One room, a mat, small stove, few plates, nothing more. She looked around, didn't speak. Michael scratched his head. "I know it's small. I'm still trying. I am here to stay." He paused, looked at her. "We will do this together." Silence. He nodded. That night, they shared one plate, sat close, talked softly. Nothing serious, just peace. Before sleeping, Amina said, "Tomorrow I will start selling something." Michael looked at her. "You don't have to." "I want to." Pause. "Let's build." Morning came. They stepped out together. Different directions, same struggle. Amina carried a small tray. Oranges, bananas. "Buy fresh orange." Her voice was shy, but steady. Then one afternoon, "Fine girl." Amina turned. Zainab, by the fence, dressed well, confident, watching her. "You dey waste here." Amina frowned. "I'm okay." Zainab smiled. "Come my place later." Pause. "You go understand." That evening, Amina stood at her door. She hesitated. Zainab opened the door. Amina stepped in. She froze. The room was different. Soft beds, mirror, perfume in the air, everything shining. "Wow!" Zainab laughed. "You like 'em?" Amina nodded slowly. "It's beautiful." Zainab sat down, looked at her. "You too fine for this kind life." Silence. Amina shifted. "I'm managing." "Managing K?" Pause. "That boy no rich." Amina looked down. "I love him." Zainab leaned forward. "Love no dey feed person." Silence. Then, "Come party tomorrow." Amina hesitated. "I don't know. Just come." Pause. "See life small. Okay?" The next night, Amina followed, without telling Michael. Music loud, lights flashing, people laughing, money moving. She stood at the corner, quiet, watching. Then a man approached, Chief Musa, older, calm. "You are new here." She nodded. He handed her money and a card. "Call me." Then he left, just like that. Amina stared at the money. Silence. That night, Micah was waiting, sitting outside, checking the road, again and again. When she came in, "Where were you?" Amina paused. "With a friend." "Which friend?" "Just a friend." Silence. Michael nodded slowly. "Okay." He didn't ask again, but something had already changed. Days passed. At first, everything felt normal. Nothing obvious, nothing loud. But slowly, things started changing. Amina's phone buzzed one morning. "Good morning." She looked at the screen for a few seconds, then dropped the phone beside her and faced the other side. She didn't reply. Another message came. "How are you?" She saw it. Still, no reply. She stood up, adjusted her wrapper, and continued her day like it didn't matter. Later that afternoon, she picked up the phone again, sat down quietly, opened the message, read it twice. Then she typed. Short reply. Nothing deep. She dropped the phone again. Minutes later, it buzzed. Again. More messages. More attention. Then the alert started. Money. She paused this time. Looked at the screen longer than before. A small smile slipped out before she could stop it. She locked the phone quickly, like she didn't want to think about what that meant. That evening, Michael watched her from the corner of the room. You're always on your phone now. Amina didn't look up. Nothing. Michael nodded slowly. He didn't push it, but something in his face changed. Over the next few days, Amina started going out more. She would dress up quietly, adjust her hair in the small mirror, pick her bag. Michael would look up. Where are you going? Just outside. When will you be back? Soon. At first, she came back early. Then soon started stretching. Evening turned to night. Night turned to late night. Some nights, she didn't come back until morning. Michael would wake up in the dark, turn slightly, her side of the mat, empty. He would sit up, look around the room slowly. Everything the same, but not really the same. He would lie back down, face the wall, and say nothing. He stopped asking questions, not because he didn't care, but because deep down, he already knew the answers he was avoiding. One afternoon, Amina sat outside, scrolling through her phone. Zainab walked over and sat beside her casually. He wants to help you. Amina looked up. Who? Chief. Amina said nothing. Zainab leaned closer, lowering her voice slightly. He likes you. Amina's fingers paused on her phone. Still, she didn't speak. Leave that boy, Zainab added. Amina looked away. Silence sat between them for a moment. Then Zainab smiled slightly. Come up. That evening, Amina was quieter than usual. She returned home early, sat down, didn't touch her phone. Michael noticed, but didn't ask. That night, they lay side by side on the mat. Michael fell asleep quickly, his breathing steady, calm. Amina didn't sleep. Her eyes stayed open, focused on the ceiling. Her mind was moving, even though her body was still. After a while, she turned her head, looked at Michael, long. Her eyes softened slightly. Memories passed through her face without words. Then slowly, that softness faded. Her expression changed. Not angry, not sad, just decided. She faced the ceiling again. No tears, no sigh, just silence. Morning came quietly. Michael stretched slightly and sat up. Amina, you awake? She stood up immediately. I'll be back. He watched her, confused. Back from where? She adjusted her bag, didn't answer. Then she walked out. And in that quiet moment, without saying it out loud, Amina had already made her choice. The car came in slowly, big, clean, shiny. It didn't rush. It just rolled in and stopped right in front of the house, like it already knew where it was going. Amina saw it first. She was already outside, her small bag in her hand. It wasn't packed fully, just the things she could carry without thinking too much. She held it close to her body, like if she loosened her grip, she might change her mind. The engine stayed on, low and steady, waiting. Michael stepped out from inside the room when he heard the sound. He looked at the car, then at Amina, then at the bag in her hand. His face tightened slightly in confusion. Amina, what's going on? She didn't answer immediately. She avoided his eyes and adjusted the strap of her bag on her shoulder. I'm moving. Her voice was flat, like she had already practiced those words in her head many times before saying them out loud. Michael blinked, trying to process it. To where? Amina swallowed. Her fingers tightened around the bag. I can't do this anymore. Michael stepped closer, slowly, like he didn't want to scare her away. What did I do? She shook her head quickly. Nothing. His voice dropped, softer now. Then why? Amina hesitated. For a brief moment, she looked at him. Not fully, not deeply, just enough to say what she had already decided. And you are too local for me now. The words settled between them, heavy, uncomfortable. Michael's lips parted slightly, but nothing came out at first. It took a few seconds before he found his voice. "I can change." Amina said nothing. She looked away again, her face already closed off. "I will do better." Still nothing. "I'm trying, I'm trying." Amina closed her eyes briefly, then opened them again. This time, there was no softness left in them. "I've made my choice." Michael stood there, staring at her, waiting for something, anything that would sound like the Amina he knew. But she didn't take it back. She didn't explain. She didn't soften. She just walked past him. Her shoulder brushed lightly against his arm. He didn't move. She got to the car, opened the door, and paused for a second. Not because she was thinking, just a brief hesitation out of habit. Then she entered and pulled the door shut. The sound was soft, but final. Michael remained where he was. He didn't follow her. He didn't knock on the window. He didn't call her name again. He just stood there and watched. The car began to move, slowly at first. Then it picked up speed and drove off. Dust lifted slightly from the ground and settled again. The street returned to its normal quiet, like nothing had happened. Michael was still standing in the same spot. His hands slowly dropped to his sides. He kept his eyes on the empty road long after the car had disappeared. A neighbor passed by and looked at him. "Guy, you dey okay?" Michael nodded once. "I'm fine." But his voice was low, almost like it didn't belong to him. He turned and walked back inside the room. Everything looked the same. The mat, the stove, the plates. Nothing had changed, yet everything felt different. He sat down slowly and stared at the wall in front of him. There were no tears, not yet. Just a heavy silence filling the room. After a while, he lay down and turned to the side where Amina used to sleep. The space was empty. His hand moved slightly, almost without thinking, and touched that spot. He left it there for a moment, then pulled it back. He closed his eyes, and that was when it happened. Not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet breaking somewhere deep inside him. A place nobody could see, a place nobody could reach, and he said nothing. The apartment was big, bigger than anything Amina had ever stayed in. 2 bedrooms, clean walls, fresh paint, a soft bed that sank slightly when she touched it, and curtains that moved gently whenever the window was open. Everything was arranged neatly. Everything looked perfect. When she first walked in, she stopped at the center of the living room and turned slowly, taking it all in. Her bag slipped from her hand and dropped softly to the floor. A small smile formed on her lips. It was quiet, but real. "This is mine," she said under her breath. Zainab laughed from where she was sitting on the couch. "I tell you." Amina nodded, still looking around like she didn't want to miss anything. Her eyes moved from the couch to the walls, to the television, to the clean tiled floor. It felt like she had stepped into someone else's life and was trying to adjust to it quickly. That first night, she didn't sleep early. She lay on the bed, turning from one side to the other, touching the sheets, adjusting the pillow, smiling to herself in a way she couldn't explain. Everything felt new. Everything felt like a reward. It felt like a dream she had been waiting for. Days passed easily after that. Things moved fast. There was no struggle, no waiting, no planning. Zainab came often, sometimes without even knocking. She would just open the door and walk in like it was her space too. "Hope you are ready," she would say. Amina would already be dressed or rushing to dress up quickly. "Let's go out." There were no questions, no hesitation, just movement. The night became louder. Clubs filled with music that shook the body, flashing lights that made everything look exciting, people laughing like nothing in the world could touch them. Money moved freely, drinks came without asking. Everything felt easy, everything felt free. Amina adjusted quickly. She learned how to dress, how to carry herself, how to smile at the right time, how to stay quiet when necessary. She watched others and copied without asking questions. Her clothes changed. They became tighter, brighter, more fitted to her body. Her hips moved with more confidence. Her shoulders stayed straight, and her eyes carried a different kind of awareness. One night, Zainab looked at her from head to toe and smiled. "You don't turn Lagos, girl." Amina laughed softly. "I'm learning." But there were things she didn't see. Chief came as usual, always announced, never unexpected. twice a week, sometimes less, never more. He walked in calmly, like he was used to everything being in place. "How are you?" "I'm fine," Amina would reply. Their conversations were always short. He stayed for a while, said little, touched little, then stood up again, already glancing at time. "Take care of yourself." Amina would nod. "Safe journey," and he would leave. Just like that. No delay, no attachment. Back to his real life, his real home, his real family. The door would close behind him, and immediately the house would change. The silence would return. Not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind. The kind that sat in the room and refused to leave. At night, that silence became louder. Amina would sit in the living room with the lights on, but the brightness didn't remove the emptiness. The space still felt dark in a way she couldn't explain. She would hold her phone and scroll. Pictures, videos, people laughing, couples smiling, friends enjoying life. Everything looked full. Everything looked complete. But none of it reached her. She would stop scrolling and stare at the screen like she was searching for something she couldn't name. There were no real conversations, no meaningful messages, just short replies and empty words. Zainab would send messages sometimes. "Tomorrow we go out." That was all. Chief only called when he was coming, nothing more. The phone began to feel heavy in her hand. One night, she opened her contacts and started scrolling slowly. Her eyes moved down the list until her finger stopped on one name, Michael. She stared at it for a long time. Her thumb hovered over the screen like she wanted to press it but couldn't bring herself to do it. For a second, she almost called. Then she locked the phone quickly and dropped it beside her like it had burned her fingers. "I'm fine," she said out loud. No one answered. She leaned back on the couch and closed her eyes. "I'm fine." But her voice had changed. It was softer now, less convincing. The room stayed quiet. It didn't respond. It didn't argue. It just held everything she was trying not to feel. After a while, she opened her eyes again and looked around. The big room, the clean walls, the perfect arrangement. Everything she once wanted was right in front of her. Still, something didn't sit right inside her. "So why does it feel like something is missing?" she said quietly. The words hung in the air with no answer. Only silence returned, and as she sat there, breathing slowly in that quiet space, something small inside her began to shift. It wasn't pain yet, it wasn't regret, but it was no longer comfort either. It was a quiet uneasiness, the kind that stays with you, even when everything looks perfect. Back in the old room, Michael was lying on the mat, eyes open but not really seeing anything. The room was quiet, too quiet. Even the smallest sounds felt louder than they should. Days passed slowly. He didn't go out. He didn't bathe regularly. He didn't eat well. Food would sit beside him untouched. Sometimes he would try to sit up, then lie back down again, like his body had forgotten how to move forward. Neighbors knocked often. "Michael, you there inside? Are you okay?" He would turn slightly and answer, "I'm fine." But he wasn't. The moment they left, the silence would return. He would close his eyes, but sleep never came. Just thoughts repeating over and over again. Her voice, her words. "You are too local for me now." Days blended into each other. Morning and night felt the same. Then one morning, something shifted. Nothing dramatic. He just opened his eyes and didn't close them again. He sat up slowly and looked around the room. The same mat, the same stove, the same plates. But it felt different now. Not just empty, but waiting. He placed his feet on the ground and sat there for a while, not thinking too far, just enough to move. Then he stood up, picked his slippers and walked out. That day, he didn't do much, but he didn't go back to bed. The next day, he stepped out again. Then again. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. He found small work, helping, learning, watching others. "You are doing it wrong." He nodded. "Show me." He didn't argue. He didn't rush. He just learned. With time, his hands became stronger, his movements sharper, his mind clearer. People started noticing. "You are improving. Good job." He nodded each time, quietly. Then one day, someone called him aside. "Michael, you've done well. Come, there's something better for you." That was how promotion came. Not loud, not celebrated, but it came. He moved out to a better place, still simple, but clean and peaceful. The first night he sat on his new bed, looked around, and for the first time in a long time, he slept. Life moved forward. But somewhere else, Amina's life was changing too. At first, everything still felt normal. The apartment, the outings, the money. But one morning, she woke up feeling different, tired, heavy. Days passed. The feeling didn't go away. She sat on her bed one afternoon, holding a small test strip in her hand. Her fingers were shaking slightly. 2 lines. She stared at it for a long time. Then,